Ever find yourself getting that email or that phone call from school? The one that starts with, "just wanted to let you know," and your heart sinks a little because you already know it's about a rule that wasn't followed. Maybe it was talking out of turn, not having homework ready, forgetting something important, or a little disruption in the classroom. If that sounds familiar, please know you are so not alone. This is a challenge so many families navigate. It's not just about the rule itself, is it? It's about feeling a little bit on the spot, maybe a touch frustrated, perhaps even embarrassed, and most definitely wanting to help your child succeed, but sometimes feeling a bit stuck on how. We love our kids fiercely, and we want them to do well, to thrive in their school environment. And when they struggle with something like following rules, it can feel confusing. Are they being defiant? Are they just not listening? Is something else going on? It brings up so many questions, and honestly, sometimes just a feeling of, what am I supposed to do about this? That's exactly what we want to gently explore together today here at Family Connection Hub. We're not here to point fingers or offer quick fix punishments. We're here to dive beneath the surface of not following rules and look at it with a compassionate lens. We want to explore practical, heartfelt ways to understand what might be happening for your child and how we can navigate these school challenges in a way that strengthens your connection, builds their skills, and ultimately helps them feel more capable and confident at school. Because at the heart of it often, these moments of not following rules aren't necessarily about a child deliberately trying to make things difficult. Sometimes, they're signals that something else is going on. Maybe they lack a particular skill. Maybe they're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe they don't fully understand. Or maybe they're just navigating the incredibly complex social and emotional world of school. So let's take a deep breath together. Release some of that tension you might carry when these school calls come in. We're going to unpack this, not as a list of problems to fix, but as an opportunity to understand our children better and support them through the learning process. Because navigating school rules is a learning process, both for them and sometimes for us, and where we often need to start when we get that call or email before we even think about consequences or lectures, is by trying to understand the why behind the behavior. This might sound simple, but it's a profound shift in perspective. Instead of immediately focusing on the action, you didn't turn in your homework again, or you talked back to the teacher, we gently pivot our focus to the reason or the feeling behind it. It's like putting on our detective hat, but with a heart full of empathy, not judgment. Think about it. When we just address the surface behavior, we might stop that specific instance, but we haven't addressed the root cause. If a child is talking out of turn because they're anxious and trying to connect with peers, a stern look or a timeout might quiet them then, but it doesn't help them manage their anxiety or teach them appropriate ways to connect. If a child isn't turning in homework because they're completely overwhelmed by the task, a punishment for the missing assignment doesn't magically give them organizational skills or reduce their feeling of being swamped. So the first gentle step is curiosity, not condemnation. It's creating a safe space where your child feels comfortable sharing what happened from their perspective. And this is key. It needs to be a conversation, not an interrogation or a lecture. Find a calm moment, not when you're both stressed or angry right after getting the news. Maybe it's later that evening, during a quiet time. You might start by saying something like, "Hey, I got an email from school today about," and then state the situation factually, without blame. "It said there was some talking out during circle time today." Or, "It mentioned that your math assignment wasn't turned in." Then, and this is the crucial part, invite them to share. "Can you tell me a little bit about what was going on? Or what happened from your point of view? Or how were you feeling during that time?" Listen, really listen, without interrupting. without immediately jumping in to correct or defend. Sometimes, just giving them the space to tell their side of the story, to articulate their feelings or confusion, is incredibly powerful. They might say, "I was just excited because I knew the answer," or "I didn't understand the homework and I didn't want to ask," or "Everyone else was talking, so I did too," or "I felt really fidgety and couldn't sit still." These aren't always excuses. They're often glimpses into their inner world or their current skill level. Being excited points to impulse control. Not understanding points to a need for clarification or help-seeking skills. Everyone else was talking points to social dynamics or peer influence. Feeling fidgety points to potential self-regulation challenges or needing movement. When they share, acknowledge their feelings or perspective. "Oh, you were feeling really excited about knowing the answer. It's tough to wait when you're excited, isn't it?" Or, "It sounds like that homework felt really confusing. That's a frustrating feeling." You don't have to agree with the behavior to validate the feeling or the perspective. Validating helps them feel heard and understood, which keeps the lines of communication open. Getting to the why takes patience. Sometimes they genuinely don't know why they did something. Sometimes they're embarrassed or scared to tell you the real reason. This is where building a strong, safe connection with your child becomes absolutely paramount. In fact, you could say that understanding the why naturally leads us into the next really important piece of this puzzle: nurturing and strengthening that parent-child connection, especially when challenges like school rules come up. Because honestly, when we're facing a problem like a child consistently struggling with school rules, our connection with them is our greatest tool. Think of it like an emotional bank account. We need to have plenty of positive deposits in there for when we need to make a withdrawal to discuss something difficult, like a rule that was broken. If the only time we have intense conversations is when there's a problem, that account is quickly going to be overdrawn, and our child is going to feel defensive, resistant, or shut down. Building connection isn't about bribing them or being overly permissive. It's about consistent, intentional efforts to show your child that you see them, you hear them, and you love them unconditionally, separate from their performance or behavior at school. It's the foundation upon which trust and open communication are built. So, practically speaking, what does this look like? It's not about grand gestures. It's about those small, daily moments. It could be spending 15 to 20 minutes of dedicated, screen-free time with them each day, letting them choose what you do. Play a game they love, read a book together, kick a ball around, just sit and chat about their interests. The key is that you are fully present, engaged, and following their lead. This isn't the time to sneak in questions about school rules. This is pure connection time. It's also about active listening outside of those dedicated times. When they're chatting about their day, a video game, or a friend drama, put down your phone, make eye contact, and just listen to listen. Ask open-ended questions that show genuine interest. "Oh wow, what happened then?" Or "How did that make you feel?" This builds their confidence in coming to you with any topic, including the tough stuff. Connection is also built through shared experiences and simply being in their presence. Cooking together, going for a walk, listening to music in the car. These are all opportunities for low-pressure interaction that strengthen your bond. These moments fill their bucket, and yours too, making it easier to navigate the inevitable bumps in the road, like that email from school. When you have that strong connection, approaching the school rule issue shifts. Instead of feeling like you're the authoritative figure coming down on them, you can approach it more like, "Okay, we got this communication from school. This seems to be a challenge right now. Let's figure this out together." The conversation becomes less confrontational and more collaborative. And this focus on collaboration brings us to our next important area. Because once you have a sense of why the rule might have been difficult to follow, and you've nurtured that connection, you can invite your child to be part of the solution. This is about partnering with them, not just imposing solutions on them. Too often, our go-to response is to decide for them what the consequence should be or what the fix is. Okay, you keep forgetting your homework, so no screen time until all homework is done and packed. While logical from an adult perspective, this doesn't necessarily teach them how to remember or why it keeps happening. It just removes something they like. Partnering means approaching the situation as a team. Okay, it seems like forgetting your math assignment is a tricky spot right now. It's causing some problems at school, and I know you don't want that. What do you think is getting in the way of remembering it? This goes back to understanding the why, but now you're inviting them to offer insights and, more importantly, offer potential solutions. They might surprise you. They might say, well, I do it right after school, and then I leave it on my desk, and I forget to put it in my backpack. Or, I do it late at night when I'm tired, and I just rush through and forget it. Or, I get distracted by my phone. Once you've identified the potential obstacle together, you can brainstorm solutions together. This isn't you dictating, it's a collaborative effort. Okay, so maybe forgetting to put it in the backpack is part of it. What could we try to help you remember to do that? Their ideas might be simple but effective for them. Maybe I could put my backpack by the door right after I finish it. Or maybe I could put a sticky note on my desk that says, backpack. Your role is to guide and support their thinking, helping them evaluate if an idea is realistic. Okay, putting it by the door sounds like a good plan. Want to try that this week? Or, a sticky note could work. Where do you think would be the best spot for it so you see it? This collaborative approach extends to working with the school as well. Instead of feeling like it's you versus the school, or you versus your child and the school is telling on them, you can aim to be a bridge. After talking with your child and getting their perspective and ideas, you might communicate with the teacher or school counselor. We talked about the talking out during circle time, and child's name, shared that they get really excited when they know the answer and it's hard to wait. We're working on some ways for them to manage that energy. Is there anything you've noticed, or any strategies you use in class that seem to help? Or anything we could try at home that would support what you're doing? This shows the school you're engaged, you're trying to understand, and you want to partner with them. It shifts the dynamic from a punitive one to a supportive, problem-solving one. Sometimes, the school might have insights you didn't have, or they might be willing to implement a small accommodation that makes a big difference for your child. For instance, if the issue is difficulty sitting still, you might collaborate with the school on exploring a wiggle cushion, a standing desk option, or pre-agreed signals for a quick movement break. If it's organization, perhaps the teacher can help the child double-check their planner or backpack before leaving class. If it's blurting out, maybe a nonverbal cue between the teacher and child can be arranged. When you partner with your child and the school, you're empowering your child. You're showing them that challenges are opportunities for problem solving, that their voice matters, and that they have a team supporting them. This fosters a sense of responsibility and agency rather than just feeling controlled or punished. And often, through this process of understanding the why and collaborating on solutions, you'll uncover that many of these rule-breaking behaviors are actually indicators of a missing skill. This brings us to our fourth key area, focusing on building those underlying skills rather than just punishing the behavior. Think about it. If a child consistently forgets their permission slip, the problem isn't necessarily that they want to cause you hassle or defy the school. The problem might be rooted in organizational skills, planning skills, or even just having a reliable system for managing papers that come home. Punishing them for not having the slip doesn't teach them how to create a system or remember. Many common school rule issues stem from skills that children are still developing, particularly executive function skills. These are the skills managed by the front part of the brain. Things like planning, organizing, time management, impulse control, flexible thinking, and task initiation. These skills don't fully mature until well into adulthood, so expecting children, especially younger ones or those with developing brains, to have perfect command of them is unrealistic. Other skills might be social-emotional, like managing frustration, expressing needs appropriately, reading social cues, or handling peer pressure. So when a rule is broken, after you've understood the why and talked with your child, ask yourself, what skill might be missing or underdeveloped here? If it's forgetting homework or materials, the skill might be organization, planning, or creating routines. If it's talking out or interrupting, the skill might be impulse control, taking turns, or waiting. If it's difficulty staying in their seat or keeping hands to themselves, the skill might be self-regulation, managing energy, or understanding personal space. If it's not starting assignments, the skill might be task initiation, breaking down large tasks, or managing feelings of overwhelm. Once you've identified the potential skill gap, the focus shifts from punishment to teaching and practicing. Just like you wouldn't punish a child for not knowing how to read, you wouldn't punish them for not having a fully developed prefrontal cortex. You teach them, you practice with them, and you support them. Let's take the homework organization example. If the skill is organization and routine, the teaching isn't just saying, be more organized. It involves breaking it down. Where does homework go when it comes out of the backpack? Where does it go when it's finished? When does it get packed? Creating systems. Maybe a designated homework spot, a visual checklist, a specific time in the evening for packing the backpack, with you checking it together initially. Practice. You might sit with them while they pack their backpack, talking through each item. You might practice using the checklist. You might set timers. Support. Gentle reminders, checking in, celebrating when they remember on their own. Or impulse control like talking out. The teaching might involve identifying the feeling. It sounds like you have so many great ideas, and it's hard to hold them in when you get excited. Teaching alternative strategies. Practicing raising a hand and waiting. Practicing holding the thought in their head or jotting it down quickly. Using a physical cue, like sitting on their hands for a moment or taking a deep breath. Role-playing. Practice conversations where you take turns talking. Play games that require waiting. Positive reinforcement. Noticing and praising when they do wait their turn or use a coping strategy. This skill-building approach is a longer game than simple punishment, but it is infinitely more effective in the long run because it equips your child with the tools they need to navigate similar situations in the future. It's empowering them to succeed rather than just penalizing them for struggling. It requires patience, repetition, and realistic expectations. There will be setbacks. They will forget. They will slip up. They will still talk out sometimes. Progress isn't linear. But focusing on building the skill provides a framework for understanding the struggle and a path forward for growth. Throughout all of this, understanding the why, nurturing connection, collaborating, and building skills, remember to approach it with empathy and grace for your child and for yourself. Parenting is a journey filled with unexpected twists and turns, and navigating school challenges is definitely one of them. It's easy to get caught up in the frustration, the worry about their academic future, or the feeling of being judged by the school. It's okay to feel those things. Acknowledge them. Maybe talk to a partner or friend about it, and then gently bring yourself back to your child and the relationship. Because ultimately, What matters most is not a perfect report card on rule following, but a child who feels seen, understood, and supported by their parents. A child who knows that when they stumble, their family is there to help them learn and grow, not just to criticize or punish. Navigating school rules with your child is an ongoing conversation, a series of adjustments, and a continuous process of understanding. It's about building those bridges of communication, planting seeds of responsibility, and nurturing their capacity to manage themselves in increasingly complex environments. You are capable of walking this path with your child. You have the capacity for the patience and the understanding that this work requires. Every conversation, every gentle inquiry into the why, every shared moment of connection, every collaborative problem-solving session, and every effort to teach a new skill is a step forward. It's building the resilience and the relationship that will serve your child far beyond the classroom walls. Keep focusing on that connection, on seeking to understand, and on equipping them with the skills they need, little by little. You are doing important, valuable work. Trust in your ability to navigate these challenges with love and wisdom. Thank you for showing up for your children in this way, for seeking to understand, and for doing the deep, often unseen work of parenting. If this conversation resonated with you, if it offered a new perspective or a sense of solidarity, I would be so grateful if you would give this video a thumbs up. Sharing it with another parent who might be navigating similar school challenges could make a real difference for them too. And if you haven't already, I warmly invite you to subscribe to the FamilyConnectionHub channel. Join our community as we continue to explore gentle, connected ways to support our children and strengthen our families, one conversation at a time. We're on this journey together.